Okay.
I can tell what your sister and your brother-in-law, even from long distance, I can tell what they do for each other. They fill each other's tanks up with things that feel good. And that's what they used to run on the next day. Their motor runs on that.
It's so true because, like,
You can feel it the way your sister talks to them. You can feel the feeling even through your son.
You don't even. I know you can.
Yeah, that's what made me realize that. Is your son has this nice little in-between attitude that's just like he's willing to acknowledge everybody that makes him feel good. He knows what it means to have this mental tank feel good. He knows what it does.
I know, like, Alan is so good to Misty. Like, he's like, you have to know, like, Alan. He's like the roughest, toughest, like, baddest, like he's a badass, basically. Like,
yeah, he's a Scorpio.
He doesn't let people fucking. He does not let anyone, like, walk all over him or Misty. Like, he protects her. Like,
yeah.
Like,
what's his last name?
Gritton.
Gritton. I don't know if I haven't met any Grittons, but yeah, he's a good dude. I can tell you that right now. Just
he
from
is like
the root of
he's
him.
like genuinely a good person inside. Like, and he like I don't know. Like, he's like a perfect match to Misty. Like, everything that she lacks, he has it. Like, he teaches her. Like, and everything, vice versa. You know, like everything.
Yeah. That's the tank right there.
lacks,
That's the tank I'm talking about. That's the tank getting filled up right there.
Like, it's so cool.
That's a good feeling when you know, when you're filling each other's tank up and you don't really notice that you're filling each other's tank up, and then you can all of a sudden astound you later. Oh my gosh, I got that because of Alan, or I got that because of Misty. It's like you reflect on it, and it astounds you. You're like, oh my God, that's why I did it. You know, oh my God, that's why. You know, they won't even be next to him at that moment, maybe, or maybe not. But they'll be able to all of a sudden, and then they just kind of keep going, though.
Like, even after, I don't even know how long they've been married. 12 years? 10 years?
Yeah.
I think it's 11 years, actually. But maybe, I don't know. Anyways, but after all that time, like, Alan will still text Misty and be like, you are so beautiful. Like, he'll tell her, like, things like that. And they haven't let it die. Like, they didn't ever let that die.
What keeps that going is the tank you get filled up on your own.
And they have respect for each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Misty always used to say to me, the biggest thing, like, you and Gary need to have for each other when we were together, she would always tell me, is like, you guys don't respect each other. And I never understood what she meant.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I always thought, like, oh, well, you know, that's just our way of, like, that's just our cute way of, like, what we do. Like, we tease each other. But, like, I hated being teased.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that didn't feel good
Yeah,
for him
exactly.
to constantly
Well, that respect,
putting me
the
down.
respect, the thing that you, solid feeling that you say that she respects me, or I respect her.
Mm-hmm.
That feeling comes from that feeling comes from when your tank is almost full of feel good. That's what respect is. If you're filling each other's tank up, that's what representation of respect right there is. You don't let it diminish. You do not let it get talked down to. You don't let other people chisel away at it. You don't chisel away at it. You fill it up. And that's what respect is. That's that's when it says my tank's full. That means you got all the respect that you need to be able to call it full. That's what the last little finishing tops of your middle tank that feels good you reach into is respect is what makes you keep adding to it every day for your significant other and vice versa.
That is so true.
And that's like, and then respect is a great thing, but if you don't have it in a relationship, boy, you ain't gonna go that far like you think you're gonna go.
Exactly.
And
Oh my God,
you know,
yes, that is so freaking true.
you can act like you have respect, but real true respect doesn't have to be acted or even pretended to be there. It don't have to say it's there. Look, I respect you, I respect you. You don't have to even say it when you have respect for somebody. You don't have to say it. You just look them in the eye and they know you did something just now that made you understand they respect you. So, you see it by what their actions are and what their words are to other people about you. So it kind of like, that fills your tank up. And that's representation why your tank even gets added to every day. Is the respect that you have for each other. You don't want them to go down. You want their strength for you and your significant other to be right there as close as you can to full. Every day you leave each other, that's what's going to get you through the times when you ain't together and then you're going to be working on some task you can't get by. That's what's going to get you by it.
That's so cool.
I mean, it really is. That's what makes love stay in a relationship that's for 50 or 70 years for some people. They was married for 75 years, That's what the root of it is. They have respect for each other and they fill each other's tank up.
I know, that's amazing.
And that's fuel for your motor. That makes your motor run.
For a while I kept telling myself, like, don't get used to it. Don't get used to, like, hearing all these great things about yourself that, like Chris says.
Little
because,
Trick says,
they're going to go away. Like, it's not gonna last, like they're gonna go away, like, cause that's what happened with Gary, like he would be sweet to me for like a couple days,
Yeah.
and then it was gone,
Yeah.
and then I would be like dying to get it back from
Yeah,
him, and I would
yeah.
be doing desperate things.
Yeah, and that's
to
when your
get it
tank
back.
starts getting chiseled away at. And even you reaching into it, taking some out to feel good. Pretty soon your tank's empty because it ain't been having anything put back in it while you're taking it out. You can't put it back in your own tank. You can put it into their tank. And that makes your tank get filled by them, but you can't really fill your own tank up. You know, you have to have somebody else tell you that, oh gosh, thank you so much for doing that. And then you're, oh, okay, you
I
bet.
know, that's so,
So,
true.
you know, so that's kind of like what it's about, really.
Like,
Is
and you run off that.
yeah, your engine runs the next day, runs perfect, it runs good, you know. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like somebody else doesn't know that their engine has a miss in it, and it doesn't even want to start. And if it does, it coughs and burps and just gasps and all that stuff, you know. But I think that you know, you've helped me be aware of some of those things that I kind of had a hint of, or thought I kind of knew a few things. But you helped me put some things into perspective because of what I've seen was lacking from what your significant other was doing for you, and the lacking of it. And I could see, I didn't know what it was until I seen the other side of it, the negative side of it, and then I could kind of see what he was doing to you, and it was just like.
So when did you see that? When I came in? Like,
Well, not right when you came to say that you want to come stay with me, but you know, that's when you say that. That doesn't really. It didn't really blow me away that you said you wanted to come over and you know. And I think a few days before then, I was making lunch for you and Gary at that fucking house.
Gary wasn't there. It was me.
It was just you.
It was when we went to Savers that day.
Oh
That
yeah.
day is very, very like that day stands out in my mind a lot because
Yeah.
I felt like you like saved me. I feel like that day you like made me feel like Corey again and like.
I remember sitting on a chair. I guess it was in Savers, going, "Oh my God, this is working. This is working. This is working. Yeah, this is working. This is exactly what she needed. One little small thing she needed.
You were like.
Many other things she
You
needs
did
too.
everything so perfect. Like you don't even realize you left me and like left me to be alone and like look at clothes like alone. Like how did you know everything? Like you didn't like smother me like.
Yeah, I just kind of I try to take a frontal view and a rear view of everything from not just me, but from what you would look at it like. It's, you know, empathy usually is involved with something that's painful or not so good feeling that you're trying to feel what that person's feeling. But you can straight feel like what they're feeling in other ways that can be good. It don't have to always have to be pain involved. So it's not really empathy, but it's more like I don't know what
No, it
you're
is
mimicking
empathy.
or like trying to.
It is empathy. Empathy
Is
is
that what
not
it is?
always just bad.
Is that what it is, really?
Negative. Yeah, it
Well,
is empathy.
so I empathize a lot with people. I try and really feel
Feeling
what they're
any
feeling.
kind of feeling.
Like I remember giving a kid a candy bar and shit way back in elementary school, and some things to him that was I given because I could tell he was just not getting those things given to him at home. Not that his parents didn't have money, not that his parents didn't have this, that, and the other. It's just they weren't giving him those mental things that he needed to be able to feel that good.
Yeah.
And that's along with a mental thing could even be a candy bar for a reward getting a good grade or something.
Cause you like didn't push me, like you like weren't pushy.
Yeah.
You weren't like come live with me, like you weren't like.
Yeah.
You were just perfect. Like I kept putting it off. I can't remember. I kept saying like, well, you know, maybe tomorrow or like I'll come. And you were just like, okay, whatever. Like what ifs? Like no big.
Yeah.
No big deal. Like, and then I was just like, wow, he's really cool. Like, I
Then
was
one
like
day
worried
she'll
you'd start to get pushy, and that was like my biggest fear because you know how I feel about pushy.
I told myself to just be patient. She'll see it. Just be patient. She'll see it
Yeah, like.
and feel it and stuff. I mean, that's kind of like that's kind of a thing that's if you have
Were
somebody
you
that
like kind of
admires you.
sad when I left? Were you like, why didn't she call? Like, did you think that I was like so worried that you would be when I left that you'd be like, oh, I guess she doesn't want to come stay with me. Like,
I can
I was
still
like
see-
so worried about that.
I could still see that that you were still wanting to find the good things in the good and not really trying to find good things in the bad.
Like
you know?
when I didn't come and live with, like when I left, when I just left.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I didn't look like a big sorrowful moment, I don't think, but I was just, you know, I was hoping that you could see the whole perspective of what it was, you know what I mean? That
Well,
I'm not sure. What day are you, what are you, no,
remember when I would just.
you was hanging out with me with the condo and then you just left, you say?
I could hear something. I could probably hear a whole fucking conversation.
And then you said you just left or something? Left the condo where you was already living there or you wasn't
No,
living
I
there?
wasn't living there.
Yeah, see.
I just got in a fight with Gary and I took off. Like, I just walked away. And I was gone for like 3 days that time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You don't even know what I did. The first night, I fucking ended up down at...
The block?
No, yeah, I went down there and then I went back. And I was going to go back to Trina's. And I ended up sleeping at the ballpark station.
Yeah.
Like, I met this guy off tracks. Like, you don't know. Fuck, I should be dead. I should be fucking
And then
dead.
when I found out that kind of stuff was happening, I straight got mad at Gary. I straight got mad at him. I went over there a couple times. He tried to tell me he went to your mom's. So I had that receipt. I went up there looking at your mom's for you. Fuck, she's not there. What the fuck is she trying to
You
pull?
really did go out to my mom?
How do you think I remember the address? I told you what it was. I still can tell you what it is. I can still tell you. I remember it very well. And I could drive by the house and I could tell, no, you were not in that house. You were not in there. You were not there. So I went right back to Trina's and said,
Oh my god.
motherfucker, you get the fuck in the car right now. And then we was stiff as a board all the way there and didn't say a word.
Was he just like, she
Well,
doesn't
you better
want to
hope
come
that
back
she.
anyway? Was
You
he
better
just
hear
like
about
that?
what. I better not hear about anything bad happen to her because you're gonna pay the price for this one.
Aww.
Fuck, made me mad as fuck. You don't let your girl go down there, you fucking stupid bastard. If it
You're
takes
like,
every
I don't
last
care
cent you
what
got.
she-
Yeah,
what
if it took
she's-
every last cent you've had, now the whole week's worth of wages, you do whatever it is to keep her here because you love her, right? Fuck, I missed the whole point part. That part is he just didn't really fucking. He didn't know
He
what kind
didn't
of
care.
fucking. He didn't know what kind of terrorist he was messing with.
He didn't-
So I straight was gonna badger him to death. He was gonna fucking be
Oh
bombing.
my god, he was like making it sound like the other morning, he was like, fine, I'll, like, he was making it sound like you, like, he was, you, like, I wasn't helping him, you were, like, which you were,
Yeah.
because, like, it's your room, like, and everything, like, that we're staying in, but he doesn't realize, like, you're only helping, like, we're only helping him because of me, like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't fucking ever, like, you
I
would.
told him to get a crutch and walk on his own fucking 2 feet.
I know.
You know, fuck it. No, I mean,
Like,
but I did it
he
because
kept
you was
making-
wished it to be that way, and that you
I
asked.
asked you, like,
Yeah, but
basically.
yeah, and I was also willing
He's like,
to.
fine, I'll just ask you. I was like, the only
Yeah,
reason
he's not really getting it, did you? At that
he
point.
has no fucking idea.
Yeah, see, that's sad for that he'd actually not really that close to his face, and he doesn't quite get it. I mean, it's just right there, dwindling in front of his face. This beautiful thing he's always wanted, he thought he always wanted. All of a sudden, he's just pushing it away by just not seeing things. You know, I mean,
I know,
God,
it's-
you asked me if you could stay there, I would sure as hell say yes, and because it's what something you desired and wanted. I wanted a neutral standpoint, if anything, and you know, and I know that having a kid means that you should be able to communicate with each other. I know that. I mean, I would never push that away either. That's another reason why I would want him to stay there, because you guys have a kid, and they're just I mean, not that it's going to be me trying to bring all 3 of you back together like that. It's knowing that you need to be able to communicate with him because he's the dad, and certain things have to be said with one another.
I'm
and that's
talking
how it
about
is.
just recently.
Huh?
I'm talking about just recently.
Oh yeah, no.
Okay, just
Yeah.
saying, like, at the hotel is when.
Yeah, and I know it's still been the same note. Either way you look at it, it's still been the same subject matter and the same topic and stuff like that. I mean,
But yeah,
I-
he was like making it sound like you guys were friends, like
Yeah.
like, and I wanted to, and I actually did. I was like, you stupid son of a bitch, like you're
Yeah.
only here because of me.
Yeah,
Like,
boy, he knows what I
am
want,
the
yeah.
one that's
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
asked Chris.
And I probably would have started laughing if I could have heard that right there at that time. I probably would have laughed a little bit about under my own breath, not just that he's just so blankly not really aware of things, you know. And just God, he just kind of like, and I try to put things into a neutral state to try and say that I'm not pushing one way or the other. Other than I just want her to say what she wants and thinks that makes her feel good. And if it's to let you stay here, then I'm sure going to say yes, because I can see what it makes her feel like. Well, he doesn't know what that means to do something like that. He doesn't know what it gives to make somebody you give such a chunk of yourself that doesn't cost money. It doesn't cost anything. That wasn't something that cost me money, him staying there. It was something that I had to take out of my mental thoughts and say, I understand what she wants. And so some people have to learn how to put it into neutral and not be some over the fucking top
And
against
you were
some.
so cool about it, God. Like,
You told me that too, and I was trying to,
like
you know, when you said that, I did.
more now, like,
When you told me that, I was like blown away by cool. What do you mean cool?
because
and
it's
I just-
scary.
And I just didn't understand what you
Like,
meant. But
he
that
used
was.
to, like you used to fear him. Like you used to you used to like fear him when it comes to me. I mean,
Yeah.
not in any other way. Just
Yeah.
when it comes to me, like
Well, I realized that fear wasn't going to get me anything. as far as feeling good. That fear is not going to make me feel anything good about it. What would make me feel good is I would just put it in a neutral state of mind and let things
plus,
be.
like, things have changed between you and I, so, like, I think you know better now. Like, you know more, like...
But I'll tell you what, I know why there's a reason to love you. I know that, and it's like the very reason is Corey Fulger is a reason to love you, and that's because she is just so all these things that are great. I mean, I can't see how I could not love you, really. I mean, how could I not? I mean, even the little teeny bits could be truckloads full, because I could just feel it. I mean, it's that good of a feeling. So, well, that feeling becomes a love feeling that makes it a solid feeling that makes it love. You know, those feelings, that little hunches that you have, like you have little thoughts that make you feel good, and also those feel good thoughts become love. And, you know, it's just like somebody needs to be able to.
That's so true. Holy crap.
Yeah, I like, when I try to find the root of something, boy, I dig deep into the very midst of it. I mean, right into the...
You have such a good eye.
Yeah, hopefully it does work in my mental capacities too. I see inside my own head what I'm thinking, trying to see, not just the outside view, but I try to see things in the inside too, which is not really in front of your face. It's up in your own head.
That's so true.
You know, when somebody says something so prolifically and you listen, the audience listens, whoever it is that listens, the guy's fans listen, they're putting a movie in their head to every word he's saying. They're just like a karaoke bubble that's bouncing to each word, only they're using pictures to do it with, because they're so into your every word explanation that, and you're telling it in a way that makes them just grab it and put a picture to it.
So true.
They become the writer, producer, and director of that film. So, that's...
What is wrong with me? Like, why, not to change the subject, but I just want to hurry and ask you. What's wrong with me that I could not, like, did you see how fucked up he got?
Yeah.
I did the same size.
I know, I tried to tell you that before already. I've tried to tell you that already before.
I am, like, blown the fuck away by it. He almost fucking...
I know. And then you know what, he carried on until the next day. He was still fucking hammered at Trina's house when I took him with me. He was
oh my god, like, I don't
then he come out of it
understand.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is that's that mental stability and strength that is what your body and your own mind does to combat it. Because I've seen you do those thrusts, and I think they're great big, and they normally would floor a guy, kill him. They would kill him. But for some reason...
Him almost did, like, and I made
and I sat there,
too,
and I've sat there...
killed him.
I know, I've sat there and watched you, and sat there right by your side, and made sure that I was right there until at least a half hour or 45 minutes went by, and then I was just straight blown away. I watched it about 15 minutes later. If you do a shot, all of a sudden, it starts to diminish and go away. And mind you, it was such a big shot that it would have probably killed my friend that weighed 330 pounds. I'd never seen him do a shot that big. He'd be so blown away by the size of your shot. What does that mean? You think about what that really means. Think about what that is that makes that neutralize that heroin that's in you. What can do that? Well, think about it.
It scares me.
It's your own mental abilities and strength you have is what does that. Now, you would think mental abilities that makes you have mental strength, how does that kill off a fucking drug? Well, because that drug is so mental to start with, and it is mental before it becomes a physical thing. You put it in your veins, it's the mental thing that gets felt the most first. And then it goes throughout your whole body, but it's something that you know what its strength is, what its power is. Okay, so you know your brain, just by instinctful, not even by you thinking about it, just by instinctful survival technique, your brain says, you know what, I got this much adrenaline and this much fucking thought that I'm going to use that to kill your ass. And so it kills off the heroin. The heroin ain't going to kill me. It's my adrenaline, my reason to live is what's going to make me be able to kill that heroin off. And so your body and your mind has become this combatant against heroin, whether you know it or not. That's what it is your body fights it, and it wins almost every single time.
You think it's my body, not my mind? Your
mind and your body both. Your body does what your mind has been told to do, but it straight gets it out of you and doesn't work anymore because of your mind. Your mind's mental ability to take it and say, you know what, you're not going to hurt me. Even though I use you to cloud my judgment and cloud my fucking feelings and so I don't feel bad, you know, that's going to last about 15 minutes. And so instinctively you think all that through your head subconsciously without even saying anything.
I think it's like the part that doesn't want to feel things. It's like the shot, it's like the mental part saying like, okay, well you got your shot in you, now you don't feel it. But
you still think about it. You still think about it.
No, like so I won't think about it because I say, oh, I've had my shot. So now I don't have to worry about feeling. So now, then I don't think about it because I've already told myself, oh, I just had my shot, I'm fine.
But what kills off
I'm
its
fine,
strength, though?
like,
What
that's-
kills off its strength, though? What is
The
actually...
actual physical, like,
Well, what kills off the first thing that makes you fall out is your mind telling you that, well, I'm just too much, I can't breathe, I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna shut down. But what is it that makes your mind be able to say, okay, that was a shot that fucking most men couldn't handle. What is it that's gonna kill its strength off? What is it makes it, you can say, oh, she puts too much water in her shot, and Gary says, oh, I seen how big the piece was she put in the spoon, okay, I don't care what the fuck water, about anything. The fucking how big a piece it was is what I see. And so I know that Trina, if she did that big a piece, she'd be straight on her back. She'd be straight on her back.
her eyeball would pop
Yeah,
out of
and
her.
I see Gary's eye doing
Roll
that
out of
shit
her.
too, and then they can kind of stay in that level, but boy, they're this close to falling out. I mean, really. And falling out's when your heart stops and you quit breathing. I mean, you need to be revived afterwards.
I don't ever get like that, do
No.
I? Have you ever seen me
No,
like that?
and that's what I've seen.
Be honest.
No, I've never seen you. I've seen your eyes get a little, but then as you notice me noticing that, all of a sudden they fly open. They don't want to be that way. You just, oh, okay, that's it. It's like
Really? I
almost
noticed
a
you
drunk
know.
would.
That's true, I
Almost
do
like a
know.
drunk would do with alcohol. They get really drunk, and then all of a sudden they realize that alcohol is really not getting them as drunk as they would like to be, or they wished it used to be that way, or it used to be that strong. And it's not because you get used to it, because it's just after a while you develop a strength against it that fights against it. Now, whether it be adrenaline or all the feel the good things you have in your mind that makes you want to live still, that makes you want to sustain life and keep living, whatever that is that taps in from your brain taps into that itself. It taps
That's
into
what
itself.
it is, because
Yeah.
I value my life.
Yeah.
Still. Like,
And it's like that
I
I've seen you do
fear-
great big shots that it scared me, and I couldn't move away from you for fucking at least a half hour. I had to stay right by your side, and you kind of like before the half hour, 45 minutes there went up, I could see you shaking it off already. Like 15 minutes later, there's no way a person can do that without having some kind of other drug like Narcan or some other thing put in that neutralizes the heroin. So you got your own Narcan shot in your own head, so to speak.
it's because I get scared. If I start
And
to
the
feel
scared
death,
is because
like,
you want to live.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it comes from. So they really don't care as much about living as you do, is what it comes down to. And that's what that strength comes from.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I care about living and that they don't care as much.
Yeah. And that's what makes your brain tap into its own sources
Oh.
of strength.
You just figured it out. I really think that's what it is. I swear on everything.
I was straight blown away by the ability your mind has to actually clear it out of itself, clear that heroin right out. I don't know if you pee it out or you poop it out or where it goes, but it sure leaves you fast. It's like there's no way that happens to people unless they've tapped into some kind of strength that people don't know about. That's what I'm telling you, you're going to be able to talk about that in the future to people who struggle with that issue. To get the strength, to get it out of them, to keep it. That right there is the same strength you would use to not want to do it. I don't know if you know that or not. It's the same strength you'd use to want to not do it anymore, to quit. It's that same strength.
Really?
Yeah. So they don't lose that. I mean, you can do a shot the size of a linebacker. I mean, I ain't shitting you. But 15 minutes later, which is a half hour sooner than I thought it would take, all of a sudden I can see your eyes becoming clear again. And not only that, you start talking about doing another shot. Something tells me that that's just something that's deeper than your mind than we know. So that is what's going to make you be able to quit. It's that same strength. Whatever your mind taps into when you do that shot, you don't want to be that high. You do a great big shot, you're not going to feel it because your brain says you don't want to feel it so bad that you fall out. In fact, it goes beyond that and makes it clear out of you 15 minutes after you do it. So, wow, now, fuck did that happen? I've never seen anybody be able to do that. So you're tapping into a power source in your brain that nobody knows about. You're going to be able to tell them about in the future of how you quit and what gave you the strength to quit is the same thing that would not let me stay high for more than 15 minutes when I would do something. It's the same strength, the same category, the same topic. Just what brings it out of your mind and uses it is a different subject. I mean, it's a different heading, so to speak. It's the same subject but a different heading. And so you got to know that when you go to try to quit, that heroin can't touch you. So what are you else going to reach for? There's nothing left to reach for as far as strength and drugs, except for one thing. Your own feel good in your own mind is what feels better than heroin. So when you start feeling that, you're going to know exactly what that strength was for and what it got used for and why you used it and why you're off of it now. And that's the strength I'm talking about. So you think about that when I try to tell you that you're so mentally strong and have a strong strength mentally that I just have a mind-blowing way, because you'd think it would have to be more physical to get heroin out of you, But it's not. It's a mental factor that makes it go away after you do a shot. 15 minutes later, it's your mental capacity. It's not your physical that makes it go away. It's your mental. So your mental feelings are so strong that they can even take the strongest drug in the world that has been struggled with since 800 AD. That they found opium, that they've been struggling ever since then because they can't find the strength to tap into it to either not die or to actually quit. Would be the same power source, your own mind. So you think about that when you're going to get ready to quit, what it is. What it is going to be, the strength you're going to use to get it out of your mind to not have to have it. It's the same thing that you use to get it out of you when you are on it. And you'll be able to talk about that and nobody else will because you're the only one I know that's ever been able to tap into that power, that thought that makes you get rid of heroin that's in your veins. You suddenly diffuse it, becomes...
God, you make me feel so special.
Well, it kind of blows me away that you have to be so strong that you can do that mentally. People don't have a drunk doesn't have the heart. They just pass out finally, and they may choke on their puke and die, but right when they go to pass out, they can't figure out what to do to not pass out. You would know what to do to not pass out.
God, I freaked out when Gary was going out.
That's
sorry, I didn't.
That's what I would do with Trina all the time with her. She'd be that way, and I'd be like trip me out all the time. Are you okay? You okay? Fuck, you okay? Open your eyes up. Fuck, you know.
Every second, I was
a couple of times I took a fucking straw and spit water in her face because she was so fucking going out of it, and I couldn't get her to fucking be aware.
Oh God, I bet you were so pissed.
I take a wet washcloth and put it on her forehead, do that. She'd get so fucking mad, her eyes would fly open. You quit that shit. Because she'd be nodding out, you know, and I put a wet washcloth on her head, cold, to make her snap out of it. It'd snap out of it all right. She'd be fucking pissed as fuck. But it'll be like, I couldn't really get her to understand what it was bothering me so bad, you know? Because then when she fell out, it sounded like a fucking railroad. It sounded like a train hit the fucking bathroom wall.
Gary hit his head and cut it that day when
Yeah.
And I was like, Chris, and came out bawling like.
Yeah.
He actually cut his head open.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck.
And
I get it now. Like I get the selfishness. Like I mean, I got it before, but like.
yeah.
Like I've experienced. Like I was mad at him.
Just
Like,
know one thing that you're
he
gonna
wanted
have.
me to push the rest of that shit in too, and thank God I didn't, or he'd probably be dead.
Yeah, that's your smartness right there. Go through.
Because he wouldn't respond to me, and it started to piss me off. Because I was like,
I even
"You
asked.
okay? You okay?"
I think I even asked Trina and Esty a couple times about what is it with Corey that how can she do this much, and she does not even sometimes even get high. And I would wonder if the strength of this stuff is any good. Then I would go over to Trina's and she'd do the same thing and be fucking looking like a gecko. You know, and I just don't get it. And she don't keep herself from looking like a gecko either. She just lets herself be it, and that's okay. And it's not really. It's not. It's a significant indicator. You know, it's like fuck. What the fuck? You know, God, it's not. I mean, you look at yourself in the mirror, you don't fucking well to tap into some kind of strength to make you not look like that. Because it's just not that fucking attractive. In fact, you look at yourself, you know, God, I'm going to get out
That's
that way.
what it is. I don't ever want to look like that.
Yeah. And it's like, that's just not really,
They just don't give a fuck. Basically.
It wasn't too long ago, I was over at her house and they was trying to get a shot and stuff, and Esty was trying and Gary was trying to get it, and they couldn't get her vein. She's as hard as, or harder than you are.
What?
She's
For
really
real?
hard to find. Yeah, she's little teeny veins, hard to get. And so she's in there trying to get it and can't get it, and all of a sudden Esty gets it, and she starts fucking doing the gecko and swaying and bobbing and weaving in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. Fuck, I straight grabbed her by the shoulder. I was going to pick her up and put her in on the bedroom and start blotting her head with a wet rag again because it just brought back flashbacks of the past, you know? And then she kind of like, quit that shit. Quit fucking touching my forehead. I'm not hot. You know, leave me alone, you know? She'd be all, her eyeballs would really straighten up when she's chewing my ass, and then they'd go right back to this one, back out to Geckoville, you know? Fucking, she'd be look like a little gecko frog. I'd be like, God, I got Jason. Everybody said calling her Gecko after that. It's like not really. I didn't mean to embarrass her, call her name, but she. I says when she starts looking like that, she's gonna fall out maybe. So you keep track of that little gecko. Fucking don't let her out of your sight. Little irresponsible fucking little shit. Little fucking monster. Fuck, she's a monster. And they'd look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know. And then they seen it and like, God, she does look like a gecko. And then, well, she's about this far from falling into infamy, so don't let her do it. Fuck.
That is so funny.
And Gary, I noticed he was doing the same gecko, but
Ew,
same gecko frog thing. Like that's not a good comfortable thing to look at. It looks like it would maybe hurt if he's actually doing it, but I guess you're just too numb to the fact, I guess, or something. You look at yourself, you're gonna hurt your own feelings, if anything. Fuck, it's like, oh, yeah.
No, it
God,
does
I
look
think a
like it
stroke
would hurt.
victim looks bad. They go get therapy after they have a stroke. They don't sit there and smile about it. And fuck. It's crazy.
Oh my god. Funniest thing I've
Silly
ever heard,
duck.
ever.
I started freaking out though. I started saying, "You okay, you okay, okay," and she finally yelled at me, "I'm okay." Oh God, I couldn't tell by your eyeballs. Fuck, straighten up a little bit. Fuck, make your head narrower or something. Whatever you're doing. God, you're fucking freaking me out. Fucking freaking me out, And so she kind of like snapped out a little bit. But I remember Esty and Ron and Gary was like, "Is she okay?" And then after I said that shit, they're like, they get kind of like, "God, yeah, okay." And then the next thing Gary's doing it too. It's like, what the fuck? You guys all mimicking little reptiles for? Fuck, it's not cool. It's somebody to me like, I start bouncing around looking for help. I start asking for like direction or something. I'm the only one that could ever find the direction. God, that's a sad note. I mean, God.
I remember telling Gary, if I ever do that, like, literally punch me in the face, like,
that's probably the root of part of what your strength gets triggered by. To actually neutralize it is that right there. That's the actual. You think to yourself, God, I'm gonna look like that on the way to death. Oh my God, no. God, I don't ever want to look like that, alive or living or dead.
Well, she goes like this. What is she looking at? Like
nothing really right there. Nothing. She's not seeing anything. How could you when your eyeballs are like that far apart? You're seeing blurry shit. You're not seeing anything fucking straight up picture. You're seeing two camera shots in one, and it's overlapping the other. It can't be too pretty of a view. I mean, it's not really.
Now every time I see her do that, and you're there, I'm gonna look at you and like laugh, thinking of you.
Look right there. There's a gecko right there. That little gecko frog on the insurance commercial. Fuck, there ain't no insurance in that. Fuck, that's in turmoil. That's like fucking reptile turmoil. Reptilian turmoil. How could you ever do that and have somebody actually smile and happy about it? Fuck, you're near death. What do you expect them to do? They're gonna panic. Fuck. People don't look like that when they're happy and normal. They look like that when they're gonna die. Their eyeballs go like this. They fucking keel over. They fall over dead. And you revive them back, and their eyeballs go back to 10 and 2 instead of staying at 9 and 1.
I know, shit.
God, I remember saying that to Jason one time. And he all laughed about it and everything, and then he started crying because he's like, "I can't believe she followed out like that time." He didn't. I think he still hates himself for that, not knowing what to do to bring her back. When he gave her, he'd come over there and he'd try to find her vein, and I'd say, "Fuck, I can't find it. I'm not a doctor or a surgeon. I can't fucking find it. I don't know what to do." So she'd call Jason. He'd come over. The next thing he's telling me about how she's.
That's like where you're at with me.
You better get down here. I remember going like that, just dropping my phone and just running out the garage door, and I was running so fast around the corner. I took them stairs in 2 steps.
Thank God you were even at the house, Chris.
God, I just ran in the house and picked her up by an armpit and shoved her in the shower, got her wet and shit like that, and put her back on the floor. Fucking, she's like. Doing that shit, she's
God,
like,
almost seizing.
Yeah, just going this close to death. Actually, where you don't come, even if you breathe them back, they're not gonna. Unless you keep breathing them, they're not gonna stay alive. It's one of them things where their mental capacity doesn't tell them to instinctively breathe. They just if you ain't breathing for them, they're not gonna remember to breathe. They just stop breathing. That's one thing it shuts off in your mind. Is it shuts off your non-voluntary muscle movements. In other words, you don't have to say to yourself to do them. They just do them on their own instinct. You're breathing and blinking and swallowing. Those things are like, you don't have to remember to do those normally, but you have to when you're close.
It's 5:58. Do you want to go eat breakfast?
Yeah, look at my hair's perfect for it. Fuck no, it's not. I need to get, yeah. It's so good to be able to talk about something like this because it really helps me too, that?
Good.
Because there's times I still have questions about of what used to bother me so bad about Trina. We used to, when you're dancing the line of death, you're walking on the line of death, you're walking that tightrope. The Italian family that had tightrope walkers, they didn't say they were all heroin addicts. No wonder they walked the tightrope. The whole family was heroin addicts. They fucking all fell off the tightrope after a while. They didn't give a fuck if they fell off or not. They all fell, we lost Johnny today. He fell 300 feet to his death. Well, damn it. We're a good tightrope walkers, so we're great at it, That family has been running away from heroin addicts.
I don't feel like I walked that line.
I know you don't. That's what your mind's strength is. It won't let you go there. It won't let you go there. As much as you may want to let yourself slip into that no-care zone, which is right next to death, You won't let yourself do
times
that.
when I've like wanted to go out.
You did?
Like who does that? Who actually?
Yeah.
Because I've like I can't feel like I like just the times when I can't feel anything.
Yeah, exactly.
When I go like days and days without being able to feel anything. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
From it, like it's like I want to feel something, like, but I don't.
You think about
really.
that power in your mind that's doing that. You think about that, what it is. I mean, that's what I really want you to search for and reach for. Slowly at your times when you're just calm and sitting there thinking, if something comes across your mind that you can, or something reminds you of, God, what is it? What is it? Why can't I get high on heroin? Why is it? Or what is it that makes me not die? And you tap into that source and you'll be able to find out what that is exactly, that power source, where it comes from.
Do you know how many times I've done a shot when I'm alone and been fucking like, oh my god, Chris is not here. Chris isn't here. Like, just absolutely terrified because you aren't with me.
Yeah.
Like, I did a shot the other day and it literally was like the strongest I've ever felt it.
Yeah.
And you weren't with me.
Yeah.
It
Was it? Did you
terrifying.
feel it because I wasn't with you, or did you feel it because it actually was that strong?
It was that strong.
So, what is it that made you make it through it?
I don't know. Like, I wouldn't.
Well, you need to dig for that. You need to dig for that right there.
Like, I don't
Dig
know.
hard.
It
You need
was
to
terrifying.
dig. And you'll pan out the fucking filter it out, make it, just separate it, put it in a pan, and make it like it's panning out gold, and figure out what that is you're reaching for. Because that's what's going to make you be able to get over this. I'm telling you, that's what it's going to be. That's what's going to make you be able to step into that third day, fourth day of being clean, and just smile and go, God, I'm glad I'm off that fucking. What the fuck have I been thinking? Whatever it is you say, you'll know what that strength is that you're using, and watch out after that, because you're going to have a whole bunch of fucking strength to show people about things, and you're going to want to talk about it, you want to say things, and you're going to be an advocate, if anything. So you better be prepared to research your own head before you ever even think about, thinking that you should give up. Because you reach into your own head, you'll see very much you have enough strength to get past this hurdle. It's just a small bump in the road is how I look at it for you, because you have that much mental strength. To me, I can see it's just a small little speed bump. Everybody else is one of them great big speed humps that if you hit it with a car, you fucking straight tear the whole undercarriage out of it. So that's the kind of it's a little bump to you though. So what makes it a little bump compared to everybody makes it a great big bump? What's the difference? You'll have to dig for that. You in your own head can know that. I could kind of give you hints about it, but for you to tap into it and to use it, it's going to be right on the edge of going to sleep and having a dream, or waking up after having a dream, or some little good feel thing happening, and all of a sudden the subject matter in your head totally changes to realizing what that strength is. And so the reason to live is what initiates it, but what that strength comes from is I'm not really sure what it is,
I don't know.
but I kind of can tell what it is.
You can tell what it is?
It's your son.
Of course.
It's your son. It gives you
Of
that
why I
strength.
want to live?
Yes, and what gives you that strength to maybe not be high even on.
Oh, well, I could, yeah, of course it is.
And what is that?
It
That's
is my
the
son.
feel-good tank that your son makes you feel. That tank that's full of stuff.
He is my
Good
reason
feelings.
to live.
Think how full your tank is too from it. It feels good.
And I get to see him today. I'm so excited.
So you see right there is the perfect example right there. You're keeping perspective of it right there. Right there is what that root of it is. Right there is your son. Is what gives you the strength. Now, what that strength actually is, you have to dig in your own emotionals and your own thoughts and where your thoughts are
It's
cognitively.
love.
There you go.
For him.
There you go. And that's because why you guys got this tank filled up for each other.
Because I love him. He's my blood. He's my love.
So he
He's
can
my
feel
life.
that. He can
He's
feel that.
my-
That fills his tank up. I think he gets him through hurdle of a day that's tough for him. What do you think that gets by it? It's not anything. It's the teacher, his parents, and anything. It's you. The thoughts of you, and how much you love him, and why you love him. That fills his tank up. So you know already what it is you're going to have to use to be able to get by this addiction.
I hope that, like, he's such an amazing kid. Like, he's so strong.
See right there's that metal tank getting filled up again right there.
He's the strongest. Well, he's the strongest fucking person I know.
And that can happen from long distance even, and you'll still feel it filling your tank up. You could be miles and miles away from me, and you still feel this feeling that just comes through the airwaves like a radio signal. To you're the only receiver in
I
town.
want to just, like, give him the world. Like,
Yeah. You think about that back and forth communal, easy going that you give each other those things. They're so strong. People dig and want those kinds of things so bad they can't find them. So you know where they're at. You know what to do with them. You get them and you use them, man. You get them and use them, and I'll reiterate it along the way. If I see it happening, I'll tell you, there you go. There's that metal tank right there. You're reaching into it. And I mean, I want you to just know that that's the strength that's going to get you past this. That's the root of it right there. I wanted you to always tell me, and I didn't really want to ever say it. And you said it yourself. It's your son.
It is my son.
Yeah, that's your strength. That's what you reach into. You get past that.
I knew that already.
Well, you didn't. You always wondered what that strength was. Well, that's it.
Well,
That's going to get you past. You know, just a
I knew that.
thought can give you a reserve energy in your mind that you could actually get past the most hardest, difficult thing if you have somebody that's actually, that you love, that's actually giving you things that make you feel that way, that you are that strong. 'Cause your son's very smart. He knows about things a lot more, even deeper than you know.
he is so smart.
So go along with that smart and use what he gives you to feel good about. That's the strength you're going to use right there. So you tell people how you get off this addiction that's so
He is
strong.
the smartest boy.
That's cool that he's using geometry that I never knew geometry when I was in high school. To
Seriously?
know geometry at 9 years old
I
is
know. That seems
unbelievable.
like crazy that they're teaching him geometry.
And they teach you as much as the class would actually be able to absorb the thoughts of it. And so they're pretty smart little class of kids, you know. But your son's right there with them. I mean,
He's in a charter school.
yeah.
That's like they have their own curriculum, and
Yeah.
it's like a little bit harder than the normal.
Yeah.
Which
And how do you know the
way
difference
cool
between
because
how do you go to one of those instead of regular school? How do you do that?
you just have to sign them up, and like there's like this long like waiting, but Maddox got in it because Haley and Lily go, and so he's like he goes
Part of the
with them.
family, so he's
Yeah.
just included. That's good. That's good. That's good. So what made this different school come to be to them though? The parents or what?
I don't know, Misty. Yeah, Misty
Did they get tested?
heard it from somewhere.
Did they get tested or something?
Oh, you're not asking like how. I
How
thought
it
you
came
were
to be?
asking why.
How they came to be that they go to this different school?
Oh, why the girls go to the school?
Well, how it came to be? Yeah.
I don't know how the school came to be.
No, how it came to be that they went to that school that's different.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. I think Misty just heard it from somebody.
That's right.
I'm not sure.
I know. That's what's funny. Is I mean, those little unsaid answers that I mean, you should talk to her about that right there and see what it is that made her reach into that, and why your son Maddox was able to follow right there with him when he came into the family. He, you know, and that right there is, you know, that's your mental tank getting filled up again right there. Is you have confidence in the kid that they actually could go learn something a little bit different, a little bit harder than the other kids, because she made them feel that they could.
He's so smart.
She made them feel like they could. So she has a way to tap into strength too that I'm talking about too. It's about your mental tank, man. It's about your mental tank, period. I don't care what anybody says. That mental tank ain't full. You're not going to do things in excess of or better than what you would have done unless that tank's full. You use some of it to get you there. That tank is full from the ones you love that give you praise and tell you things, and your sister doing that with him. That's where they got it from. That's how they got the reason to go to that other school.
That's so true.
So anyway.
Enough
Enough
wanna
about
do
the mental.
this
After
and then-
3 hour talk about the mental tank.
Yeah. Aren't you tired?
Actually, I'm kind of tired, but I'm like vibrant and actually just pumpy, happy as you could be talking about this kind of stuff, which is normally,
Good.
it's because
Thank you.
it makes me feel like I'm important in a sense, you know, to help you relate with whatever it is we're talking about, you know.
Oh, you know you're important.
Well, I mean, it's hard to know completely though when there's just not really, you know. I mean,
This is just filling your mental tank. Talking about it.
hey, you just shut your little smart little mouth there. You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
You're filling your mental tank by talking about mental tanks.
No, I'm talking about things that you're listening and letting, and that's what's filling my
and that's
mental.
that's filling your mental tank.
That's that back and forth thing. I could say this all day and it wouldn't ever really make me feel like I was filling my tank up. And me talking about it and having you say, well, what is this? What is that? Why do you think, you know, ask for the root of it, some content from what I'm saying. It's what makes my mental tank fill up and be able to go on about it. And it's like, and I love the way you listen. I love the way you listen.
Even when I'm so focused on something
Even though you're
else.
even if you're so speculative
listen.
and not really, you want to know the exact details of what I come to that answer about, and I try to dig.
I
as,
do.
and I try to tell you, like, God, I have to just come to this sort of
You
encyclopedia.
You have to know that
God, it's like He wants a meaning. That's like, God, how deep do you want it said by? I mean, God, I can't get out of Webster's dictionary and put every word written in like in the dictionary.
You know, I always ask for examples too.
Yeah, and like I say, you don't tell a story without content. You can't say apologies without content either. Only thing you can say without content is a thank you, because of all the things that they know where the thank you was from. Because you just said thank you after the things all just happened that made you say thank you. So that's the only thing that doesn't really have to have any content with it is thank you. The person knows what you feel good about it. They just gave it to you.
Mm-hmm.
But to know the other direction is another story. You can have some content if you're going to say apologies. You can't just say I'm sorry. What are you sorry about? Well, fuck, you know. My dad says if you say sorry without any content, you ain't got no balls. My dad would say that. It means you got no balls. Another thing he said balls about.
Your dad said that?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really impressive.
If you say sorry without a content, it means you got no balls. So get some.
Oh, I wish I could have met your dad. He sounds cool.
He would say things that would just straight floor me and my friends. More so than any guy that ever we met at church or anybody we ever met, scout leaders or anything. He'd say something that would just stick with us so much. Stick with us so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I remember all of them saying, you picked it. They'd say, we were talking about whatever thing that we, decided we didn't like, you picked it, and that's, that carried on with me all the way through, letting them kids pick their own position on a football team, and I'd say you can still change your mind if you want to. You just have to go backwards where you started from and start again and admit your mistakes, and that's your content for saying sorry to yourself. So.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really love life. I really, really do love life. That's what makes me a little bit happy, pumpy, instantly. But I think it's been beat on like anybody else has, but I still have held on to it, and that's Mother Nature and God's way of making you feel like your tank's a little bit full of a power that other people can't see, and they didn't give it to you. It's your spiritual side that gets it for you, your faith. So that can fill your metal tank up to get you back up to zero, you know what I mean? Get back up to even. There's being down, and then there's being countersunk below down. And that's where you have to work your way up with positive things to even get back up to zero.
That's where I feel like I was.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel like
That's
I
how
was
much you
there
give
too?
that's how much you give yourself out to the love, and you try to express it that way, and that's that's it right there. That shows it right there. What gives you that faith, your initial tank, is the faith, and the reason you were born. The reason you have a soul and the life you live in is because that's what's going to fill that tank up to initiate the whole process of you feeling good about things. Is God made you feel good, so did Mother Nature, and so did Jesus, and you're here living, and so to know that's the root of it all, then that has to be given thanks to. That's what you say a prayer. You don't ever want to ask Him what you want until the very end, and you say what you're thankful for 10 times over of things you like and appreciate much before you'd ever ask for anything in a prayer.
God, you could teach my son so much.
That's when you find that prayers come true. They won't come true if you do that. If you tell faithfully and truthfully what you're really truthfully thankful for, and you appreciate so much about life and why you like life so much, and how you love the food that gets served to you and the things about life that you love so much, you start saying those things to God, how you love and appreciate those things, and you ask for just one thing compared to 10 things you thanked Him for, you won't believe how often that one thing comes to light. It comes true. It comes flying on through. So just one little request after 10 times the thankfulness will get you that appreciated thing you want so bad. That will get it for you. But you got to thank Him deep down in your heart with truthful things, because He knows what fake is. So if you're telling Him fake things, that don't count. So in a prayer that you're thankful for, if you're really not, like you're saying how you're thankful for this, thankful for that, and really deep down you can give a care less, but you're trying to just say something to make it, everybody listening to your prayer, even in your own head, that you can't be fake about what you appreciate. You got to be truthful about what you appreciate, down to the deepest, most center of what it is. And and if there's things that are lacking of and you're not really sure why, you tell him thank you for helping him understand when you finally do. Thank you for helping me see what that means or what that is. I didn't understand 2 weeks ago when I was praying to you. I didn't know what that meant. And you tell him that because everybody makes mistakes. God will give you the best, most unbelievable answer for that one request that you ask for at the end, right before you say amen. That he will give it to you like a big old soft, cushy down pillow to lay on. And it feels so good you can pack that pillow around for years to cush on. But that initial tank filling is done by God and by Mother Nature and by Jesus, by faith, is what originally gives you that tank feeling, that feeling that you can reach into a tank. And that starts broadening into people and situations and things about people that, when you say you just tell God thank you for all those things 10 times over before you ever even think about asking for a request or something to have actually to happen.
True. I like how spiritual you are.
Oh, I can feel it. I can feel it sometimes. Like, don't go without saying this part right here, Chris. Something tells me that in my head. Don't go without saying this one part about what you appreciate so much. It's the very center core of living, what it is. Who gave it to you? Your parents and God.
What do you think the purpose of life is? What do you think we're here for?
A test of faith and spirituality and goodness and the right things to do.
And goodness.
That don't cause harm. It doesn't cause harm to other people. It causes good things to happen.
I like that. I'm almost done, hopefully.
I've said prayers for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my family's, they said a prayer for me, I think. Like this week.
I asked him to please help her see and feel all the things that make her be able to know what is good and to be able to get her things that are against her behind her. And that's including the addiction. And whatever else would fall in that same realm. So.
Oh my God, Gary, too.
Yeah, that kind of is a negative thing that puts. Some of the hardest negative things to get by in our own minds are what we put upon ourselves. And to get past them is to know what they actually are and why we put them there. And why we have hope for something that just really has none.
I know.
And it's hurtful to ourselves. They put us through the ultimate test is what you're doing. You put yourself through the most ultimate combative boot camp training, fucking exerting, fucking pain-causing, deep down hurt that you ever can imagine. And you're inflicting it upon your own just because the love is just that strong. So when you finally get to the root of it, is you got to use that love for you, too. First and foremost, you got to love yourself, and the only way you can do that is if you don't have those mental humps to get over. You can't really love yourself if you don't have most of a clean slate, and you're working around getting them things that don't make you feel good out of your life, out of your head. Then you start realizing what makes you feel good, and there you go. It's your peers, your family, and you. And God. Your faith.
So true. You're so wise. Are you exhausted from talking?
What?
Are you exhausted from talking?
No, I was just reflecting on a couple of things. You ever learned something so long ago that when you all of a sudden realize that what you do, this one thing you do so well, and you start giving thanks and you realize that it goes clear back to when you were like 10, and you still use it to this day, every day almost, and you use it to make things better and to make things work because you know so much it works to do that. You tap into things that go back so far back into your almost deepest parts of your memory. You get back that far, and you realize that you see what you do all the time to show your strength to people and to make yourself aware that you're important. And, you know, you're not here just an expendable piece of meat that goes away one day. You actually have a reason. I think you have a reason to tell your family about things that you're going to be able to tell them about, things that make you feel like you're, like, you know what you're talking about. You're going to be able to stand up and they'll know exactly that you have the awareness to be able to say what you're saying. You're just making it up. You know what it is point blank. You'll be able to tell them things that they'll just be astounded by. But I feel like your family needs to have something said to them in a way that makes them realize that there's not no overwhelming problem, but there's a problem that can be overcame as long as we always know it's there and we work at it and keep from happening and we don't let it get to us. So that's what you're going to be able to tell them. And that's going to straight save lives in your family. So that's right there is what is some of the after effects of coming clean is going to be able to get you. That makes you keep running on it. It keeps you clean. Is you're going to be able to tell your family what it is they've been blocking out for hundreds of years.
How do you know exactly that I'm gonna do this? Like, you've seen it?
It's just a natural step-by-step reaction that's going to happen, but I see it kind of in my head too. I've had it kind of like said to me that's, you know, you'll have family members even call you up after the fact and say, God, Corey, you don't know how much we appreciate you. You know, and little Johnny, we struggled with him for a while. We didn't really realize what the root of it was. You know, because they'll show signs of it before you even becoming a teenager that you may have addiction type tendencies. And there are little hints that will tell you. And so as a family member knows that or blocks that out, that's what's going to make them break things. That's what's going to save or not save people. Because that's what's going to be able to, they can tap into what you know. And they'll call you. You're a family member. They'll reach out to you. And they may have blocked you out before, but when they see this, they'll look at you like the new Jesus Christ almost. And you'll be able to put it all into perspective for them, though, and tell them exactly, like I've been telling you, it's your mental strength and your feel-good things that make you, and you're surviving, you're wanting to survive. And when you survive, you realize what you wanted to say about it. And so you don't know how much this world has struggled with what I'm talking about for a long time. I mean, a very long time. To the point where the whole world is half scared about it. The other half of the world knows about it and what it can do, but is scared to confront it. Because they're afraid if they confront it, they may fall into it. Even though it's a problem, they know about it. But it's just the awareness of it and being able to talk about the strength to get you by it that's going to go back hundreds of years to man has not been able to do. Very few select people have actually tapped into that strength and used it. And if they would only talk about it and have some way to talk about it to their family, or to relate it with people, whatever the circumstances is, I have a feeling your family is going to reach out to you and want to know what it is you got over and how you do it. And so that's going to have them even calling you and asking you for advice from people that a year before that was actually shit talking you or not talking to you at all. So.
You make me feel so good.
I feel that coming out of you. I can kind of see that in my own little movie in my head that I'm trying to write a screenplay to. That I really don't know all the whole story because it's not played out yet. It's still playing out. I can kind of see it as I look forward to it. And I can kind of see what it's going to be, what it's going to do, what's going to make you do. Because you won't be able to sit idly by and just say, okay, I'm clean. Da-da-da. Oh, hi, how are you doing, everybody? You're going to have a fire burning in you that's going to be raging hot. It's going to make you mad sometimes. And sometimes it'll make you quiet and not really know that people are going to be reaching out to you and asking you about it. So you have a fire burning in your ass that's just going to be fucking, you're going to know what to do with the extra time in your hands, put it that way. So.
Wow.
Was that a long enough explanation about what the root of it is? I'd never tell you any of those things if I didn't think that's really the truth and or what is going to actually be happening. So,
Wow.
I just kind of jumped on the bandwagon to kind of go for the ride, so to speak, because to have a problem and be close to a person and friendly with a person, and to know they have a problem and not help them address it if they want to address it, then you're not being much of a friend.
Wow.
So, even if it hurts you to go along with them or with it, because it's such a painful thing, tell me that friend's going to appreciate it, and you're going to appreciate them too. I mean, you both can look at each other and hug each other when it's all said and done. You're going to have that hug's going to mean unbelievable things.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
go in a sec.
Sure.
What?
No.
One more, and then if I don't get it, I'll just muscle it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking?
I think land.
For what?
I was just telling God.
Aw. Sorry to interrupt. Holy cow. I didn't mean to.
So I wish I appreciate that I can appreciate life. And to help me to never let that go is the only thing I request. Help me to understand why I love life so much. It just went like this. It dropped a little something in my tank.
God did?
Yeah. Somebody else is peeing. That's funny, huh?
In here,
You notice all these weird things along with the also zany things and important things along with the peeing in the toilet thing. What if they could hear us talking?
Probably. I bet you wanted someone around here needed to hear that.
Did you set that preacher up down there?
I bet you someone around here, like someone around.
The toilet sucked his fucking
In
life out
one
of
of
somebody.
in one of these rooms needed to hear what you said.
I go down there and that can't be the guy that was saying that shit. Look at that crazy bastard. Is that blonde, good-looking girl? Did he say that? No, I don't believe it. It has to be some other guy around here. Some kind of Ezra Taft or somebody. Some kind of biblical figure or something. Hell no. The world needs to get a reality check, is what I think sometimes. I can't believe that what they happened over in that Syria over the last while, which I'm not sure exactly what the whole turmoil is in that country, but you've seen all the refugees and all the stuff that was leaving there in the last year, whatever. They're going to Greece and all the other places. They was taking rafts and stuff too. You remember seeing that on the news?
Okay, what now?
Hundreds of people taking a raft and floating it across the Mediterranean to Greece.
Why?
As refugees, because they're trying to escape the country, and I can see now why. The ones that were left got fucking chemically bombed. And those chemicals they ain't like shrapnel or a burning bomb or a bomb that blows things up.
Who, and where did this happen?
Syria. Damascus.
They got chemically bombed?
They just did 2 days ago, and it's like horrific. But you know what chemical bombs do? They were banned weapons that have been banned since World War II. They are banned. They're such a horrible chemical that when it goes, it disperses that chemical cloud to places a shrapnel, a fire, a bomb of explosions could never go. It goes into places they could never make it to. And it kills people that are deep down in the deepest holes, dug down deep. It will find them too, the chemical bombs. It was horrible to watch them on the news, what they was doing.
What were they
The
doing?
people were just like just completely covered in this chemical. It was killing them, and they was like eating them alive. I mean, they were spraying them down with water to try and neutralize them out of the pressurized water, and the people were just screaming in horror and they basically died later because it's so down deep into your chemically down deep into you, it kills you. No matter what, it kills you. I mean, it's like kind of then. So I'm kind of admiring of that Trump in a way that he said, "Fuck, this is not happening in this fucking world while I'm in president, and I can do all the financial things in the world, but I am not letting this go. I'm gonna blow that fucking airbase up to fucking smithereens," and he did. And I think I commend him for it because
He blew,
he sent missiles in there and blew that fucking airbase to fucking smithereens.
who did it? Do they know who did it?
The Syrian leaders did. The people within the country that are making these people become exiled and remove themselves, and refugees become from the country and leave. They're the ones that had foresight enough to leave and had the ability to leave. That leader suddenly, just recently, 2 days ago, bombed these people with chemical weapons. Has been banned for since World War II. They've been banned this harsh chemical weapons that basically go down deep into places where a bomb could never get. It kills people. And it makes people come out of the deepest depths cellars that would normally be safe. All of a sudden, they're not safe. They got killed. And so that's what the refugees were knowing all the time ahead of time. There's so many refugees.
They knew it was going to happen.
They left the country. They knew there was rumors of it and everything. Well, this airfield was just loaded with this chemical weapons. They launched the airplanes from there, and went and dispersed these bombs around, and it just blanketed the fucking whole city.
How many people?
God, lots. They think thousands. And I like the way Trump got up there and said, "You know what? On a Sunday, after I'm just going to go to vacation, this ain't happening while I'm president. This is not." And he's seen the photos, and I think when I understood, he broke into tears and near threw up and had to be almost carried out of the room because of the impact it made to him. He could not, and he says, "Financial this, financial that, fuck financial. We are not letting this
He said the
up."
F word?
No, but I could just tell that that's what basically his cabinet and people said. You could take Obamacare and abolish it and all these things. They take all that shit and set it aside about the world's finance and all that shit. We are not letting this horrible thing happen without being understood. So he blew that fucking airbase the fuck up with Tomahawk missiles, which are just, they blow the fuck out of everything. And who knows how many people they killed? As far as he hit it right on the nose though. He launched against that airbase that actually dispersed those bombs out. So that's kind of crazy. And what's crazy is these bombs of illegal warfare have been kept in bunkers.
Oh God! What if they blow us up here?
Well, they said that they're going to be launching the missiles to us, and one of those nuclear missiles from one of those countries probably would be launched to the U.S. There's no way it'll make it here. It'll be shot out of the sky.
How do you know that?
Well, because we have a defense system that just covers our whole country, including beyond. And so does the United Kingdom. It's a missiles that shoot a missile out of the air. And it shoots it out of the air, then kills it so it doesn't ever hit land. And when it hits it, it makes it become diffused, even if it's a chemical weapon or a nuclear weapon. It makes it not be able to do what it wanted to do if it gets blown up in the sky. We have weapons of that technology, and I think we've even strengthened them. In the 100 days he's been president, nobody's reacted that way in the first 100 days of presidency that was so mortified and so unbelievably taken back by that action of some other country. He said all the financial things he knows and all the things about that, fuck, that ain't what I'm worried about now. What I'm doing is I'm going to blow this fucking place up because I'm not letting them ever destroy innocent civilians like that again. Or a weapon that's been banned. And this country's leader looks like a regular good-looking dude that just has no problems with it. He's got the biggest butcher they ever fucking seen since Hitler. And he's basically doing what Hitler did. He's separating a certain class of people that have a certain religious belief, that they're being pushed away from the country, and so
It's a religious thing?
Well, it kind of is, yeah.
Why?
Because there are certain things in that country that they don't feel belongs or should exist there, because it goes against their traditional main beliefs. So these people that are what they call refugees now were rebels, basically, to start with, but not violent rebels. They just had different beliefs. Well, they're not have the ability to choose those beliefs in a non-democratic country or democracy. They don't have that.
No kidding.
Yeah. So that Syrian guy, you can see him and he is a graduate of medical doctor. He's a medical doctor, a regular
And
full-blown,
he
and he
chose-
still chooses to kill people that way.
Why would he kill him though? I don't understand why.
God, there was little kids laying in the middle of the street. They went down and sprayed with water. That they were sitting there shaking like this, and they went and sprayed them with this fucking water, the chemical to try to. But what damage has been done is done. They may have saved some of them's life, but they would be crippled for life for sure, if not die later from the injuries from it. It's just so deep down in you that the chemicals. I can't remember what they all are,
Is
but
it
they're.
like air? Is it like you breathe it in?
You know, it's covers your whole body. It just whatever it is, it absorbs through your whole entire skin. You absorb it everywhere.
Like, is it like smoke or?
It's like a gas, infiltrating gas. Like you, and what's crazy is it does a dispersion when these bombs go off, these chemical bombs go off. It makes an even dispersion of itself. It makes an equal layer of it go completely out that will kill everybody in that area, no matter where they're at, no matter where they're headed to. It'll find you, like almost like a magnet would find metal. It will
Why?
find you because it just blankets the fucking whole area, and you can't get away from it. It just goes into cracks and places where it normally be able to be. You'd have to have a chemically
Oh
sealed
my
bunker
God, I want to watch this
to be able
stuff
to do
on
that.
YouTube.
It's